Good day. Happy New Year. Wishing you all the best for 2022 and beyond. The date is January 4th, and we're having a cold one here based out of Ontario, Canada. So it seems like the market is being a bit choppy. So let's dive into this because I know many of you are interested in what's happening with the market, right? We were typically, according to the Plan B forecast, we're supposed to have a green October, November, December, and this blow off top. And why didn't that happen? So I have some answers for you in terms of why that is. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes in terms of the migration of the miners leaving China way back in June, about 6 months ago. We do have some policies and policies within that region that are still impacting some industries. So even though the migration took place, or so it may have seemed, there's some things happening with the policies. Some of the migration occurred into Kazakhstan. So what happened is China came out 6 months ago and says, we're going to ban Bitcoin mining. So prior to that, China had about 70%. They owned about 70% within their region, of course. They had independent miners. So the market share of mining companies belonged 70% to China. What has happened over the past 6 months is something that no one has ever seen before with the Bitcoin network. So just to recap, within the last 6 months, China banned Bitcoin mining. So all these miners had a time frame to move out of China. They had to look for homes in various geographical locations around the globe. Two of them, namely the United States of America. Number two is the Kazakhstan region. So the good news for the United States of America is that they now have most of the mining operations based in America. So everyone has their opinions of how that could play out. Hopefully things were more balanced than that. But nonetheless, we have great lawmakers and rule makers in that region to ensure that it could be done the right way and something that's beneficial to all. So think of it like the starting back again of the internet. When that broke free in the last 30 years or so, in the mid 90s, the dial-ups, AOLs, etc., came to be, and we evolved from then, right? There was companies formed that were part of the infrastructure of that internet at that time, right? So that was the founding internet. Right now, we are currently experiencing Web 2.0, right? So Web 2.0 is the upgrade from what the original internet was. And as we move forward with the evolution of the internet itself, we look to improve on what our challenges are at the current time. So us being on social media, especially influencers or artists, creators of content, it's very difficult within the Web 2.0 platform to own that or own the rights to your work without having perhaps a liaison or relationship with a third party. So, there's many, there's probably two things. There's always two sides, a pros and a con. And with that, some of the cons are that the artist doesn't get to collect. If I were the artist and I'm putting out content, maybe that contract that I have with someone else who is going to ensure that I get paid, they're taking more of my profit share, right? So in this way, in the Web 3.0, what you're going to see is that more profit share becomes directly, to the content creator themselves. So that's a win-win for the content creator. It's more incentivized for them to step up and create more content for the folks that are at home or on the go watching, right? So welcome. Tonight is going to be a bit of a deep dive, so I hope you don't mind. You can click that fast forward button if you'd like. But I wanted to take my time and really lay out what it is I've been researching, pondering, thinking about, and strategizing on for myself. So this is not financial advice. I will make that known and make you publicly aware of that. Whatever I discuss on this channel is just for fun. And it's, a projection of, hey, what am I into? How am I looking at this technology space, right? So having spent the better part of my life in technology, this is the next evolution. So now I'm more aware as as compared to, when the internet versions 1 and 2 came out. Now I'm more aware and more conscious of what's to come. So, given that we are living in the Web 2.0 platform right now with social media, why not share the knowledge, share some of my experiences that I've encountered in this space. So the global adoption rate for Bitcoin, digital currencies, the awareness, it's being broadened by several entities. So crypto.com is one fascinating company. So congratulations, guys. You guys are phenomenal. Without a better word for that, but you guys are just phenomenal. And it's really glorifying to know that crypto.com can make such strides and make such difference in people's lives. This is not a sponsored video. I actually went out on my own and I started utilizing their product. And I was very attached to Binance, for the last few years. Binance is also equally a great, wonderful platform. However, they have some KYC issues to work through with a FAT organization. And because that's taking a longer time than many would like, including myself, we have to look at other exchanges in where we can perhaps trade. So for the last 6 months, I haven't been trading per se. I wasn't looking at the day trading because the market, as I mentioned, when the move happened for the miners to relocate, there was a lot happening. The market, the hash rate of Bitcoin went down to a very low number. And there were, the market itself, Bitcoin was at 30,000. So the hash rate dropped, Bitcoin's price dropped. There was a lot of, I would say for myself, personal speaking, a bit of a discouragement during that time, right? So there was some moves that I had to make as part of my personal life that, it didn't align with, the market crashing at the same time. So there were lessons learned that I took away from that I really want to share. And that's why I began my own YouTube channel, right? To share some of the experiences, because I would really hate for anyone to suffer what I've suffered through, right? It's gut-wrenching. This market can be really gut-wrenching. So position size well enough so that you can sleep well enough at night, right? And never over leverage, never go out and take out loans to do this stuff. This market is a very asymmetrical market in the long term. It's a brand new asset class. And I don't know, I'll pause right there and delve into what that is and what's it comparable to. So think of real estate. That's the closest thing I can think of, or stocks. You have trillions and trillions of dollars in that market, maybe even quadrillions in some aspects. So what's happening is you have this brand new asset classes being formed. And this is being brought to you as part of an evolution of the internet itself. So we're talking about right now is blockchain and Web 3.0. And I've been studying this for the last 3 years. I took a course from Oxford University in blockchain itself, and that was about 3 years ago. And there was about that time that I started looking and delving into more of this ecosystem. It is very and extremely time consuming. So it's not a quick video here and there, and then all of a sudden you're rich. It's an ongoing investment, not only with your money, but it's an ongoing investment with your time, right? So I'm not a financial advisor, just speaking from my personal journey, right? And how you may benefit from what it is that I'm doing, right? There's many channels out there, so I thank you for spending the time. And let's get into some of this meat and potatoes here. So what I mentioned is the migration with China. That took place, 70% of the operations migrated successfully to the United States of America, mostly in Texas, right? So Texas has some huge operations. However, Wyoming, and there's in cities across the US, there's some great mining operations. These are very extremely expensive, right? So what's happening with these mining operations is that, let's say if you have a whole 10 acres of land and you put some mining rigs over there, now you have to, it's an operation you're running, so you have operational costs, right? So we are here in 2022, and yes, it could be a Palm Beach day for you, or it could be a winter day like it is in Canada, Toronto or anywhere in Canada, literally. But no matter where you are in the globe, things are heating up in the background in regards to cryptocurrencies, in regards to Bitcoin, in regards to rules and regulations, frameworks, the adoption. So the SEC is, you typically would have to clear your project with the SEC, and then you get the green light and you're like, yes, okay, great. Now we have been cleared. We're good to go. We are a legitimate entity, right? As per the SEC, right? So we've seen, for example, XRP is that token is 9 years old. 9 years old. Bitcoin just celebrated its 13th birthday just yesterday, right? On January 3rd, right? 13 years ago, the first block was mined, right? Genesis block was mined. So that's when you look at that, that's technology that's 13 years old. Has it evolved since then? Oh, yes, you can guarantee that it has evolved. And that's what's brought us here to this conversation here tonight. Where would Bitcoin be in another 10 years, right? So we are in 2022 right now. And what this is all going to really come down to is things are naturally going to start to evolve and gravitate towards the Bitcoin economy, the blockchain economy. So Bitcoin was the first blockchain that was formed, and it's since become very scarce. So that makes it one of the scarcest digital assets around. Right now, since then, there's been many digital assets that have been created. For example, I'll give you an example. The Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? The Bored Ape Yacht Club, roughly 10,000 mints of those, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is so scarce, it's only 10,000, right? But it all depends on the demand. What is that Bored Ape doing for you? Maybe you pay 200,000 and it gets you into free parties or this and that. Great. The value that Bitcoin has and brings to the table for discussion is its deflationary value, right? It was made of 21 million. So I think everyone kind of knows that right now. But if not, I'm just kind of reiterating, because this is where, I want to take you from the beginning right in up until where we are right now. So 21 million in supply, because it's 13 years old, guess what? Back in the day, you have people that threw away laptops containing 10,000 Bitcoins, right? There's a person out there with that. They lost it. It's somewhere out there. It could have been used, it could have been dispersed, but a lot of people say that that's long gone. It's gone forever. There's multiple cases like that. Bitcoin was spent, 10,000 coins for 2 pizzas. That's worth a lot of money today. But congratulations to the person who spent that, because that showed this value that Bitcoin can be used to transact, right? You're talking about roughly almost, since that transaction, which is probably 3 years after Bitcoin was born, probably in 2010 or so, that transaction took place to show that, yes, it's got utility, right? But back then, no one, everyone's used to the cash. We're just getting used to Visa and maybe your debit card. I don't think tap pay as you go wasn't a thing yet, right? We were just coming out of the 2008 sort of recession, where we had that those the first initial bailouts. We saw things almost come to a meltdown, but it was prevented because of the bailouts. And that's really the essence of why Bitcoin was created, right? Because there was a lot of things at play, a lot of people in power that sort of keep the power. Bitcoin was created for you, literally. It was created for all, and it was created to change the way we perceive value and the exchange of value, right? So it's minted in, let's say, 21 million supply. That's how it was designed. It's not going to have, or it's not going to be mined all of that until like 2140, a long time from now. So every 4 years, Bitcoin goes through a cycle, and it's called a halving cycle. The rewards get cut in half. So let's say all these miners are mining Bitcoin. You can only mine a maximum of 900 Bitcoins per day as of current time. Prior to that, let's say 2 years ago, prior to the 2020 halving, you would have double that. So the supply, when you plug in these machines, the supply, you can have 1,800 Bitcoins per day. No, not bad, not bad. But the demand wasn't there. Had the demand been there, even at 1,800 Bitcoins per day, that would have seen the price shot up significantly, which it did, but it would have sustained it significantly. So this thing was happening too fast. It's like, especially for lawmakers, it came out of left field. They knew about it, but it's like it's happening too fast. So let's just, make it go away. Now the genie is out of the bottle. And what does that mean? That means we are living through a time where you're recognizing your peers, your family members, on the news media, you're recognizing that people are starting to talk about Bitcoin. There's a lot of doubt, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of learning for each individual that says, what is Bitcoin? Let me buy some. I know people that bought, Bitcoin, put $1,000 in Bitcoin 2 years ago, and they're okay with that. That can sit there, right? They're not stressed about it. That $1,000 can turn into $200. That can go from 200 back to $2,000, right? Each and every individual will have to decide how they want to play this market. What are they going to do, and how are they going to invest in this market to take advantage of this asymmetrical bet, right? There's about probably 15,000 different cryptocurrencies out there. And even if you just buy Bitcoin, for example, $1,000 US worth of Bitcoin today, that in the future, it's going to be an asymmetrical bet, right? So, 5 years from now, that $1,000 could literally turn into $12,000, right? So that's what 5 years of just doing nothing, not stressing about the market, not stressing about the daily ups and downs. Bitcoin has already done its phenomenal work back in, growth rate, over the last 13 years. So a lot of people are looking at Ethereum, and Ethereum has brought some positive developments to the space. It also brought some drawbacks as well. And with that, I mean in the high gas fees, right? So for those of you who are unaware of the gas fees, when you transact on the Ethereum network, you have to pay a fee. And depending on how busy the network is, that fee can go really high, astonishingly high. So for example, if I buy something for $50, I may pay $150 for gas fees, right? So now that product that I'm trying to purchase is literally $200. Okay, so that's something to consider. What would that do to the value of the item that I'm purchasing? Well, guess what? If I sell that item again, I need to make those gas fees back. So I want to sell that for $500 and, reclaim those gas fees that I've, would have lost otherwise. So the NFT market is taking things by storm. Ethereum is one of the largest DApp platforms out there. Decentralized application, that's what that stands for. The Ethereum Foundation is one of the largest dApps platforms out there. Microsoft says it's going to be like literally number one. So they're onto it. That will drive the price of Ethereum further northbound, upwards to 10 plus, right? 10, 20,000 one day. But as I mentioned, the gas fees are staggeringly high. So they are working on improving the efficiency of Ethereum itself as a foundation, as well as these things as the gas fees. But while they're working on that, guess what, folks? You have other cryptos out there, namely Matic. So the Matic token was created to lower the gas fees. So for example, I want to buy something from Ethereum, or I want to purchase some things on the dApp. Now I have the opportunity and the option to say, do I want to use the Matic network or the Ethereum? So if I use Ethereum, I'm going to pay $150 in fees. I don't want that. So I'm going to purchase this product with using the Matic network. So that network they created it right out of the box, right out of the get-go, with the intention of lower fees, right? So now you can use that as a side chain. And what that will do is save you and I a lot of money when we decide to buy something and we use the Matic network. Similarly is the Solana, right? So, if I were paying attention closely last year in 2021, perhaps I would not have missed the boat on both of those, right? Including Terra Luna. So you have projects that, even though you think you're great and you're doing well, and I know how to trade and I know how to look at the market, there's always going to be something to miss because there's so many things and so many information out there. So there's going to be the times like perhaps today, when you look at Bitcoin and it's like, I bought Bitcoin 2 months ago and all of a sudden it's doing sideways action. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what altcoin, or to buy, or any altcoin I buy, it seems to go, up and then down and up and then I don't have patience because I over leverage. Like, all these are thoughts and emotions and feels that people can literally go through in this market. So my purpose here is to sort of clarify that, what's happening with the market, make it a bit easier from a trusted source, so that you could sleep better at night if you're definitely involved in this market. And perhaps we can find some gems along the way, right? So these side chains were created due to the fact that Ethereum itself was so expensive. So a lot of people right now, all they hear is Ethereum, Ethereum, Ethereum. And they're just, I'm going to buy Ethereum. I'm going to buy 5 Ethereum. That's it. Ethereum is a $500 billion market cap or thereabouts, right? Fluctuates, of course. Bitcoin is also around the $1 trillion market cap, US denomination. So this is extremely huge. The marketing, Bitcoin has been around for 13 years. Ethereum has been out for a long time. So people are just hearing about Ethereum. So Ethereum started off just at $9, 5 years ago. That's it. 5 years ago, $9. Now it's like $3,000. You can literally look at some of the top infrastructure tokens out there and see that it could, and it may very well likely follow that same pattern. So if you're someone who is 25 years old and you're looking at this video as some inspiration on perhaps what to look for in terms of technology, what to invest in, without being taking this as a financial advice. Chainlink is one of the core components of Web 3.0. It's partnered with over 1,000 entities out there, right? So Chainlink brings secure data to the blockchain, right? So it's linking the old legacy systems with the blockchain and ensuring that the data that traverses between them is very secure. So I was a very early adopter of Chainlink, and I still love Chainlink. However, because the first thing that drew me to Chainlink was the technology. I understood immediately the impact of such an organization, right? Because where they sit within the Web 3.0, traversing data, we are living in a data-driven world. Data is the new oil, right? So you have data analytics, you have machine learning just to crunch data. So data is, cybersecurity. I'm also into cybersecurity as well. So I know about the data leakage prevention and the reasons behind that. So I saw Chainlink, and I still do see Chainlink as a magnificent opportunity. So my journey with Chainlink, I bought in roughly $2 or a little bit less, and I rode it all the way up to $20 US. And then it was still early days for Chainlink. So then the market kind of sort of consolidated, and I wasn't sure what that really meant. What is this market consolidation? Like, should I leave it? Should I not? Am I a holder or am I a bag holder? Like all these things I went through. So you see the numbers go up on your screen, and then all of a sudden you see the numbers go down. But Chainlink at this price right now, I think it's less than $30 American. The inflation that we've seen, or at least maybe the inflation that hasn't yet appeared, but it will, because literally since last year, trillions of dollars have been printed, US funds, that is, almost 7 trillion thereabouts. When I bought Chainlink in 2020, that didn't exist back then, right? So maybe they were just starting to print, maybe even a trillion, not to the magnitude that what I see today. So when I see a Chainlink price at $30-40, I'm looking at that again, because that's still a core component of the Web 3.0. There's going to be others like API 3 and Band that have that same Oracle where they want to link legacy to blockchain, and they sort of follow in the footsteps of Chainlink and try to take some of that market share, right? So just like how you have Microsoft and Apple, you and I need devices to function on. We need ecosystems to thrive in. Same thing with Chainlink. Chainlink has its competitors. However, it's the first go-to-market product out there. So they do have the respect amongst many, top entities out there and individuals. So I'm quite surprised to see Chainlink really below $100. But that gives me some ideas about, for a long-term opportunity, now that I know more about what I'm doing, rather than treating that token like just a tradable token. There's been some times where I bought, for example, Axie Infinity a year ago. I looked at that as a trading token. I bought it. It went up a couple of bucks, maybe. I don't even know, probably a few cents. And I sold it. I sold the whole bag and now it's gone. Axie Infinity turned around to be $150 US. So that could have rewarded me with a lot of wealth, right? So I missed the boat on that. But I'm here to tell you, if you are buying coins and trading, don't sell all your bag. Don't sell 100% of it. Leave 5%, in there, right? There's no need to take all of it and put it into the next coin that you think is going to go and do well, right? Especially these great projects. So perhaps one day I'll build back my Chainlink position, but if not, I'm out here looking at other gems, right? Even if I buy a few Chainlink, hey, good. I still know what they're about. As I mentioned, API 3 or banned, I may look at that because those are cheaper and they're going to follow the trend of Chainlink, right? So even if I missed out on Chainlink, for example, because I sold the tokens and I can't really get back the position that I had, which would have been great right now, that's okay. I can look at other options. But also what I was doing back then is just trying to bet on that one winning horse, which was for me, Chainlink. I got spoiled. So that's also not a great strategy as well. The strategy is looking at a few blue chips, of course, Bitcoin being one of them. Put a certain percentage of your portfolio in that. It's up to you to decide whether that's 10%, 25%, or 50%. It all depends on your risk tolerance as well. So that's something for a different discussion. And let's share the screen here because I do have some things that I want to discuss. But these are some of the things that I want everyone to start pondering of. And as I mentioned, this video might be a little bit lengthy because we are going into 2022. There's a lot of things happening with the Bitcoin mining, migration, and right now the hash rate of Bitcoin has been the highest since the beginning of June, right? So it took a dip, we had a lull, and now it's shooting back up to around the same. The price is not caught up with the rapid increase of the hash rate of the Bitcoin mining hash rate, that is. However, it should, within the next few weeks to months, things should get heated again. You want to be prepared, and to be prepared, it's like doing your homework the night before. You don't do the homework the day of, right? This is the homework. As much as it can be for myself, sometimes to look at the market and say, oh man, this is depressing. I had this or I had that, now I lost it. That's not what I'm here for. It's all positivity, because guess what? It's time like this when Bitcoin does the sideways moves that I'm doing my research and spending 16 hours a day behind the scenes during a holiday season, mind you, nonetheless, trying to analyze what it is that I didn't analyze for the last 6 months, right? So take a deeper look at the signs, and the signs tell me that things will get very heated in 2022 because the mining operations are back in the States, or it has increased their footprint within the United States. Kazakhstan, remember I mentioned Kazakhstan? So guess what? Kazakhstan, they're still running on coal mining. They have a old school type of system for mining. And when I say mining, the electric grid, right? So they're still running on coal electric grid, and I'm not an engineer and electric engineer, so forgive me if I messed that up. But the point is, right now, they cannot, folks, they cannot sustain the mining operations that were built in Kazakhstan after the China migration. So now these folks have to they have to actually migrate away from Kazakhstan, right? So now you have, you see the decrease in the hash rate because you have to unplug your machine from China, ship it to the United States. They did all that within 3 weeks, and there's still some remnants of that from, from that policy change, right? That's could be impacting the price right now, in amongst other things. So we're not getting that big blow off top yet. But what this does do is gives you and I an opportunity to study this market, understand what's transpired over the last year, the last 12 months, understand where is it going in the next 12 months. This is an evolving technology, number one. It's also being a rapidly adopted technology. Thank you to El Salvador and the mayor of Miami. You guys are amazing. You guys are phenomenal. You guys are amazing. I got to visit Miami very soon. There's a blockchain conference coming up in April. I might just very well do that because I want to be more involved in this space because this is the future. And I'm so passionate about it. And I'm here to say that this will bring you rewards in your lifetime. If you invest your own time doing your research, it will reward you more than anything, any previous job you've had, anything like that. Like that's guaranteed, but you have to put in the work, you have to research. So I can come on and talk for an hour here and there. I can give a little bit of a notion of, inspiration, sure. But I myself have to spend my time looking at my portfolio, studying what I'm going to do next, right? I'm not a financial advisor, just here to say, hey, the technology is really amazing. And I'm going to share my screen right now. And let's see what we have here. So December 28th, I do subscribe to Symmetry Research. So I have a lot of subscriptions from various entities, and it's quite a bit of reading. The current ROI is 1973. So before I jump into the pick of the month for December, let me just click on this ROI. What does this mean? So every month, these folks, they come out with a token, right? Pick of the month. They'll say, hey, curve token. So if I invest $1,000 in this and just leave it, over the next course of the 12 months, maybe 2 years might pass by, I would have listened. Number one, hear what I'm saying. I would have took the time to read through each of these pick of the month, right? So you've got a lot of nice ones here. Theta Network 2019, right? I wasn't a member of this group back then, but just imagine, Theta is like $5 right now. But just imagine you bought Theta $1,000 at 12 cents, right? That price would have increased 4,000%. Let's say the other one of these, let's take a negative one, Proton. Now, I don't know what Proton is. I can look at the report, but it's not doing very well, right? It's 2 cents and the live price is 1 cent. So this went down, negative 2%. Maybe this is a great project, but I do not know because I haven't been looking at these. It's, as I mentioned, it's a lot of reading, right? So I myself need to catch up on some of the stuff here. But look at these from 2019, October. Thor chain went on to do 64,000%. It started off at 12 cents and now it's $7. I'm just going to look for another one. Okay, so some of these didn't do so well. So this is an idea. It's just an idea of they come up with a token and you can put some money into it, right? So Terra, this one here went from like literally 50 cents, 60 cents to $100. However, they look like they also missed the boat on that because they got in when it was $36 and now it's $85. So 134% since September 2021, right? So not a bad thing. Arweave. So Terra, these guys are actually Terra Luna. They're actually going to be like a stable coin. And let's see what happens if I click on the report. I don't know if you'll see it. It says this is now a safe pick. So it's still, that was at $36. I don't know if it'll drop below what it's at right now. But it's said to be a coin that could literally 10x, because as the need for this Luna token, Terra Luna token increases, they're going to increase their burn rate. So that means that as soon as it goes out there and the demand increases, then guess what? They're going to be burning more of that token, right? And that will create a real good stable coin atmosphere. So that's, without delving into everything, I'll just click through some of these things here. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but just to give you some of these information that I literally have at my fingertips, right? Why is it I come on here and I talk about this? Well, it keeps me engaged because I'm doing my homework. And as I gravitate more towards Web 3.0, blockchain, investing for myself, sharing my experience, growing my social media platforms and channels to talk about crypto and becoming that crypto influencer. As I start to do that, that keeps me more and more engaged, more and more aligned with what I'm really passionate about. And then I can create value for myself by creating a model of something down the line, right? So, for example, I can be able to sit down with serious investors and go over platforms like these, right? There's going to be many organizations that perhaps they say, hey, you know what? I want to hire you because I want to sit down and we can go over some deep dives of what it is you see in these markets, right? It's not just an hour conversation here and there. There's a lot more to this. And you can extract value from all of this, right? So that's my game plan, to start to ramp up things. Like, I have to realize that we're in 2022. I don't want to wait till 2025 and then come out the gate and be like, hey guys, look at me. No, I thought about sharing my journey. So why not? So this is the Terra Luna network, and you can see they have many, many different partnerships, right? So this is what happens in the background. And I really hope you can see the screen. Yeah. So Terra Luna has a lot of platforms, partnerships out there, and they're doing some great things. So that coin could literally go from the $85 where it is right now to, perhaps, $1,000. Some might say, right? Some might argue, could really go astonishingly higher than what it is right now. So, look at back in June 6th is where we had the, things were a bit bad, in terms of Bitcoin was only $32,000. So the sentiment was a bit off. It was, a bit depressing. But look at this chart. If somebody bought, I don't know if this is the active users. If somebody bought this token back then, the active users on the network and the utility of this token just staggeringly increased over the summer months, over the rules and regulations. So this is what I'm here to talk about tonight. Tonight, the market might seem, hey, I'm not sure if it's going to go sideways. What is it doing? I don't know what to buy. There's opportunities, ladies and gentlemen. There's opportunities like none that you've ever witnessed before or experienced, right? These are the type of things you might experience in some of these tokens. Things are going wrong. All of a sudden, they have either a hack or something happens and then it drops, right? If somebody was really over leveraged in there and it dropped this much, then that's going to be very scary. So it can be gut wrenching. Just wanted to highlight that. So that token is called Luna. You can do more research on that, of course. Yeah, so that's an idea of the pick of the month, right? So because we're coming off of 2021, these are the September. Yeah, two picks there. Luna, Arweave. Arweave is a Web 3.0 storage. So it's storage on the blockchain, right? Think of it as Amazon on the blockchain. This is the company, right? So the ticker is called AR, current price $52.99. You can buy this token up to $80, and the total supply is 66 million. Now, that's very interesting. It's very limited in its supply. And as this continues to grow, as I mentioned, if it's looked at right now to be the Amazon of Web 3.0, well, guess what? With that short supply over there, you could probably expect a really good price within the coming years for this, right? So even if you buy, a couple of tokens here, the idea behind this whole thing is to plan where you want to be 2 years from now. So January 2024, what's your January going to look like, right? And this can definitely help it look better for all of us. Okay. So Arweave is a unique project with working technology and an incentive structure that makes sense. It's part of a nascent, high potential market with a value proposition that other players don't have. Permanent file storage. So permanent, as I mentioned, Amazon, if you go in and store something on a database, sure, you have redundancy, you have backup solutions. But there was something in the news article a few days ago, I was skimming through, and I saw somebody, I think it was a university, they lost a backup or they lost something. And I was like, wow, wouldn't a solution like this be, very good to have? Like, people these days in 2022, they're still losing their backups, they're still losing the actual data that they work with, and then the backup is corrupted or something like that. What if you have a solution that is permanently immutable, stored on the blockchain? And that's where Arweave comes in. So we have lots of things happening in the blockchain, metaverse, etc. This would be one of the core infrastructure projects, right? Storage. So that's why it literally came up as pick of the month, right? So there's so many. Choosing an exchange. So when you buy these tokens, you have to look what exchange is it on, listed on. So right now, I know these are some other ones that not very many people will know. However, I think it's on crypto.com. All right, and then look for AR USDT. But this is typically what the exchange looks like, right? Your buy, your sell, the quantity, the price, the mark. You want to buy limit or market. Like, there's a lot to this trading aspect, or even if you're just purchasing for yourself, there's a lot for this. And the interfaces between different exchanges can be very, complex to simplified, depending on which exchange you use. So Coinbase is an easy one. I've tested the waters with that over the last 6 months. As I mentioned, I wasn't doing a lot of trading. I just kind of got fed up with the market, to be honest with you. And I said, look, I'm just going to look for a job and do my usual consulting stuff and try to do that, right? Because I wasn't in a good place at that time. Maybe I wanted to enjoy the summer, but thank you, Ben, BitBoy Crypto, because I looked at his video tonight and he says, he's just talking to the people and says, just go out there and create your content. Don't give up. This market could have you depressed sometimes. It could have you like emotionally detached from your loved ones, and just study the market, right? Put in the work, because summer 2022, when things were popping, and I've identified why I should buy perhaps AR, right? I look at the token economics. I look at the project itself. I look at the team, you know, I look at the risks, right? Then if I purchase a few of these now, and I'm doing my homework on a January coming off the holidays, we're still in the holidays, guess what? I'll be golden come December next year, right? And this is what I'm trying to do, is spread that knowledge. Let's take a quick look at this. How does the permanent storage works? Proof of access. Ooh, see, I haven't heard of that one because there's a lot of reading. So proof of access consensus algorithm. I think Solana has the proof of history, and I'm looking at something here as proof of access. Now, Solana, you know, if I were, again, I'm just being real. If I were paying attention to what's going on in the industry last year, rather than being, you know, having a cold, depressing spring or winter, and look for these fine needle, like these needle in a haystack opportunities, I would have discovered that Solana has a different consensus algorithm than Bitcoin or Ethereum. So Bitcoin is proof of work, Ethereum is proof of stake. Solana came out the gate and said, we're proof of history. And now I'm reading this live to you, or not, you know, in a recording. I'm reading something that says proof of access. So if I do a deep dive on that and I say, what is proof of access? Who came out with that technology? Is it actually Arweave? Is it AR? Is this something brand new? Because, you know, technology is evolving, right? Bitcoin itself is evolving. Self-organizing wildfire node topology. Okay, no idea what that means. The most interesting element is storage pricing. Okay, so endowment pricing structure. Once you understand how it works, you realize why permanent data storage is truly possible, right? Storing data on Arweave is expensive. Nobody wants to hear that. By comparison, Amazon S3 storage service costs 23 cents per 1 gigabyte per year. And Filecoin is only a very small fraction of a penny per 1 gigabyte per year. With Arweave, you have to spend around 0.5 AR tokens, which at the current rate is equal to about, what, $25? Have you seen that? 100 more than Amazon, and even many more times Filecoin. FIL is the token for Filecoin. I saw that shot up a few times. I was like, what is that? Okay, I learned it was storage, but I didn't do any deep dive on it because I'm, you know, wasn't interested at the time. But now it's gaining momentum, so I'm really evaluating the decision. Maybe I can jump back into Filecoin. But so AR is expensive, but guess what? That's because you're paying for 200 years of storage upfront. Why would I need, ladies and gentlemen, 200 years of storage? Well, guess what? The Web 3.0 is really on a blockchain, right? So 200 years that reminds me of when the CD came out. Remember the CD players, and you can have data on this disk and you can have it for 100 years. You can put it in your whatever. It's like, yeah, data can be stored on that for 200 years as well, right? Thereabouts. That's what I was told a long time ago. But if you lose the CD or it cracks, well, guess what? You know, you're SOL. But I'm just taking a bit of a deep dive. It's not really a deep dive, but I'm just showing you the intense research that people do out there, right? Data persistence and availability, right? So that strengthens that notion. So is there a market for a product like this? Well, it depends. It depends. Definitely intelligence. You know, this can be a technology that can definitely be utilized by governments, right? So just giving you a heads up on that. So efficient node topology. 5,000 transactions per second. Additionally, the teams has made time to improve the read and write capabilities of the network. So it's a fascinating technology. Storage. I recall hard drives, back in the day when I was reading similar things, but this time pertaining to the platter hard drives, right? The technology in that, and then now we evolved to the, this SD card type of thing. So this is just doing a comparison between Filecoin and AR, right? Okay, I see something with NFT here. So I'm just going to read through this quickly. Still, some applications from the layer one networks like Uniswap or Arweave link provided are already hosted on the network, which is encouraging. More importantly, Arweave's ecosystem can significantly benefit from this connection with Solana. Solana has been experiencing a surge in DeFi and NFT activity over the past several weeks. Rising NFT activity on Solana directly benefits Arweave through examples like the description of pointing to URLs on IPFS already mentioned. The most popular NFT tool on Solana is Metaplex. It's a set of scripts that enable people to put NFT collections on the chain without deep knowledge of how the technology works. That's awesome. By default, Metaplex uploads assets to Arweave. Solana has been welcoming Arweave since 2020, when the team announced a hackathon focused on building interoperability between the two networks. Since Ethereum-based applications and services mostly use IPFS and Filecoin, Solana and Solana-based applications will likely want to have their own staple decentralized storage provider, which appears to be Arweave. So Solana, that token went from dollars or pennies, dollars last year in 2020 to $200 right now. And they actually recently, just about yesterday or so, they suffered a cybersecurity breach. Kind of common these days for some of these big projects. But what you'll notice is that right away, these holes get patched and there's no longer opportunities for the taking in terms of for hackers. So the market cap for Solana is probably about 40 billion, thereabouts 30, 40 billion. They're huge considering, all that money. And where's the money coming from, right? People will buy Bitcoin and say, I want to invest in Solana. Just people or institutions, etc. Right? So to know that Solana is tapping on the shoulders of AR, right? That's a token name. That's just crazy, amazing. So, however, it's still growing, right? So you will always have growing pains, although the ecosystem is rather weak. The network's connection with Solana will likely be positive for the network ecosystem growth in the future. Right now, it's inferior to Filecoin's ecosystem, but Arweave's market cap is also smaller and gains much more value relatively as it expands. Thus, if Arweave's ecosystem expands, it will likely get closer to the Filecoin market cap, right? So if I just go to CoinGecko and I take a look at AR and I go to Arweave, click on that, $62. Okay, that's quite expensive. However, 50 million in circulation, right? 50 million in circulating supply, sorry. Total supply is 64 million, right? So it's a very, Bitcoin only has 21 million at the beginning I mentioned, and this is talking about 64 million in supply. Now they're going to be partnering with Solana. They're talking about data for 200 years, immutable data on the Web 3.0 platform. Just think about where Arweave could be literally in 5 years for one token, right? So, you know, I'm almost tempted to break out the calculator here, but I think you guys at home could probably do that. What would it cost? Let's say $1,000 invested in this project today at $62. How many shares of Arweave would you get, right? Let's look at the charts as well. What's the growth? So over the last 14 days, you know, over the last 1 year, wow, look at that, 2,000%. Not bad. Over the last 30 days, you know, this is what I like to see. I like to see, and I like to read about stuff like this. Had I read this report, you know, maybe when this came out a few months ago, a couple months ago, I would have benefited from that 40%, you know, gain. This is why I'm here. I'm here to say, look, I'm human. I get distracted. I have a life. I go through the emotional ups and downs. I get tired of reading all these articles, but I'm really here to give you value. I'm showing you literally on the screen that I missed out on 40%. It's okay. It's okay. It happens, and it happens quite often to a lot of people, not just to myself. But that's a nice 40% gains right there, right? So I'm definitely going to be taking a closer look at Arweave and Filecoin as well, because there's benefits, pros and cons to both, and there's different use cases for both, right? But something to pay attention to. Even if I just buy one, I need to be content with that decision to say, look, I can't throw all my money at it, but I'll buy one for $60. That's not going to hurt me at all. $60 can turn into, you know, $1,000 per share in 7-8 years, you know, when things start taking off and they've built a name for themselves and they become the Amazon of Web 3.0, right? Or Amazon decides to buy them out, right? That could happen. Who knows, right? I'm not here to tell the future, and certainly not here to read your future. But this is how we can, you know, extract some value from this channel to take a pause and take a look and what's happening here behind the scenes, right? So as the market has sideways action, and maybe you don't see videos coming out from me a lot, I'm doing some research in the background. I'm doing some reading and to see what's going to happen. I'm just going to show you here coins on the move. Algorand, let's see, they had short term here. I think they missed this one. Entry point is 168. Target price 151. Looks like it went up, so it looks like a good thing. So, but yeah, Algorand, that's the wallet. I can't pronounce the name. Siva wallet that they're using in Ecuador. I think it's based off the Algorand blockchain. But Theta network, live price is 497, entry point. So this must have just happened, yeah, a couple of days ago, December 28th, 2021. Their target price, and this is, I'm glad I just pulled this up while you guys are watching. This is a great indicator. I knew, without even looking at this, I know that $4.97 for Theta is a remarkable buy right now. Theta is one of those tokens that I was listening to one of my mentors in this space, Dave. So I was looking at his videos, Crazy Cryptos, Crazy for Cryptos. So thank you, Dave. Dave was into this since 50 cents. And at that point, I was so caught up with Chainlink and really, you know, I was still, you know, learning about this space and doing some trades and focusing on Chainlink, not really thinking about diversification. But I was hearing Dave speak about Theta Network back when it was like 50 cents. Then I saw 50 cents turn into $1.50 and then 2.50. I'm like, oh no. And then I even bought some and sold some. And when you have money, you buy something and you sell something, just keep 1% and just leave it somewhere, because you just never know. Thankfully, the opportunity presents itself again. This is a token to keep your eye on, because they have merged with, excuse me, I have some background noise in the back, so I apologize for that. That's my son in the back here. So this token is going to be something that's going to be very much in demand. The Theta Network has partnered with Lionsgate. So good things to come from Theta Network. Theta is also linked to T-Fuel, which right now is about 19 cents. So you have a lot of upside potential for those two tokens, right? So I'm glad I can bring that to you. The target price from Symmetry is $6.90. So that should be really, really good. And you have a few other things here. So that about wraps it up. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. So thank you all for joining tonight. I'm going to end this short because, I think something's come up, but hold on one second. Thank you. Okay, so wanted to look at some of these targets here quickly before I go. I do see something here coming up on the screen. So crypto.com, the live price of that is 55 cents US, and the entry point is 53. So that's targeted to be $1.12. Crypto.com, as I mentioned at the beginning of the, show, crypto.com is doing some great things, and I realize I'm not sharing the screen right now, so I do apologize. And here we are. Okay, so crypto.com, here it is. 55 cents is the live price. That is targeting to go $1.12. Keep your eyes on crypto.com, the token. So if you use crypto.com, every time you do transactions, you build up your CRO stack. So what that means is you're increasing your CRO, and the price for that, it increases because they also have staking and burn rates, I think, for that. This was posted on December 6th. They got in at 53 cents. Currently, the price is 55 cents. So this is what I would call one of the hidden gems, right? The Staples Center, it was renamed and rebranded to crypto.com. Not only that, Kevin Hart is going to be speaking on that in the springtime of 2022. So in about 3 months, Kevin Hart is going to be having a show in the crypto.com stadium. And, that could be an easy double of your money right there. I literally, I use crypto.com. So whatever if I don't buy more, I probably see that value increase. But this is an exchange that is gaining momentum highly due to their Visa card. So you can literally trade crypto now and top up your credit card and go shopping, right? So that's how crypto is coming to the masses. And that's why I talk about in some of my channels that 5 billion people are coming to this space, right? It's just a matter of time. You give people a credit card, trust me, they're going to spend it, right? And I've been utilizing it, and it's helped me out, right? In between, when I don't have, gigs, not working on anything, guess what? Maybe I can make a few trades, put $1,000 in crypto.com or anything else, and it turns into some profit, and I can use it, right? That becomes my income. And it's like a regular job. You have your 9-to-5 job, you have an income from that, and you're taxed on that, right? This is the same thing. Like, this can be an income for trading or whatever. Crypto goes up, and that becomes my income now. So, and this goes for anybody, right? So what I would project happening is incomes like this would sort of replace what it is we're doing with our time. Time is becoming more valuable, especially as more variants break out. Omicron is one of them, most recently notable, and in France, there's variants like crazy that's happening. Okay, so things to look out for. So Ripple live price is 83 cents, entry point is $1.38. So they went down, slid down on this. However, this is a bargain deal right now. If you ask me, I missed out the opportunity to buy Ripple at 25 cents when it was December 2020. But we've got a few other here. VeChain is currently at 8 cents. The target price is 24. So they set target prices. Sometimes, as you can see here, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But these are planning. These are, we can go back to September. EOS, the live price is 321, entry point is 280, right? So it made a few percentages upwards. These ones were successful. Avalanche, live price 100, entry point is 87. But VeChain, I'm keeping my eye on VeChain. I think they're the supply chain blockchain company, right? So this is it already hit what, 26 cents, 23 cents. So at 8 cents, when did it do that? In 2021, right? When things were really taken off, the market was about to do some beautiful, wonderful things, and all of a sudden, Elon Musk started talking and coming on Saturday Night Live, making a big joke of everything. And guess what? The market crashed. Everybody knows this, right? I lost a lot of money. And this was supposed to be money that was for my family, right? So guess what? All that went bust. I got depressed, but as I showed you in this video, that's not the mindset to have. So that's my learning lesson. My learning lesson is to thrive in this market. So, there were opportunities that presented itself in this low point that I could have bought into, and I probably did buy a couple of them, but I think I just packed my bags. There was things happening in Ontario with regards to Binance being booted out and all this FUD and fear. And yeah, I'm human. I succumb to that as well. So, it crashed down here and then it picked up. And then what is this? October, September 27th, it looks like it hit that, that line again. So every time it hits this line, it either goes a little bit below, but it bumps up. We are just about that right now. So I can definitely see probably this coming back to at least 15 cents by springtime. And in long term, it has to just go up, right? They've been around for a while. So long term, entry point, Luna did great from their entry point, $22, $66. Luna is more than that right now, so that's a success. Arweave, we spoke about that. Sorry, this is not Arweave, this is Aave. Entry point was April 8th. Okay, so here's something to note. April 8th, 2021, I think the entry point is 215. So it didn't go up a lot. So that's why I'm looking at other charts where they say Aave, keep an eye out on Aave, because Aave, it's been consolidating for almost a year. And when you see something like that, with the price action hasn't moved that much, it could have the potential to break out, right? Start doing some great things. Tezos, another one. I remember seeing that about $3. Like they updated that. And it says $9. So right now it's at $5. So these coins take a year. Sometimes BAT has been doing great. It can take a long time to pan out. So just keep that in mind. There's a bunch of them here. So entry point $11, January 7th, 2021. Right now so January back then it was, I wanted this to be like, $30. It should have been $30. It's a great project, but it doesn't work like that all the time. These things take their own time. Your most favorite coins can do just nothing for months. and you don't want to be over invested in it, right? You want to pick something or diversify. Don't over leverage either, because if somebody like Elon Musk come again and you have everything in crypto and it crashes it, guess what? It's going to pinch. It's going to hurt. Cosmos Atom. That's the project. Okay, they have this pegged at $39. Live price right now for that is $41. The date posted on this is April 8th, 2021. So the entry point was $13 and the target price was $39. I don't know what time frame they gave that, but from other charts that I'm following right now, Cosmos Atom is very much in demand and could go to $70, right? So 2022 is going to lift a lot of these altcoins. Matic Network, excuse me, 60 cents for Matic Network. I wish I'd gotten in, but I would have been impatient. If I saw the market crashed in June and I had Matic, I would, I'd probably be thinking something else. But the thing is to hold tight, get into these projects and understand them. Right now, Matic is way over the above price, the target price. So some of these are very old, so I'm not going to mention them. 83,000 for Yearn Finance. And Tika Tawari also spoke about, you can literally buy this and feel comfortably buying this token, YFI. But when these things run up, if YFI runs from 37 grand to 80 grand, I think it did something similar once, you have to sell. You have to sell at that, but you can always buy back, but you have to sell. So ZIL, 36 cents. Zilliqa, right, is an excellent platform. This is currently sitting at 7 cents. This is one of the tokens that I actually want to buy because I'm looking at what will increase my wealth a year from now, right? Zilliqa is one of them, right? I got to look for the cheaper stocks now because I went and I spent some money on some physical assets, which is fine. That's what crypto is here to do, to help you spend and buy something on the outside in the real world so you can utilize it. And then you come back, obviously you're going to come back with less money. When you have less money, you got to look at charts like this, like Zilliqa, look at some, target price for Solana, $666. And this is not the only platform that's telling me that. I have other VIP memberships that tells me Solana could potentially go to $800, $1,000, right? When things get really hot. So watch out, right? These guys got in at $200. I actually just sold some Solana because I thought it was I traded it for Atom, but I didn't sell everything tonight. I actually just sold some of it and I diversified, right? So what I used to do is I used to sell everything and then move to the next one, sell everything and move to the next one. Oh, I missed out that one. No, that doesn't work like that, right? So these guys got in at 200 and the live price is 169. The target price is 666. So this is very much a competitor to Ethereum. So that's why I would not sell all my bags on that. Bitcoin, 150,000 is the target price, October 10th, 2021. They got in at 53,000. So they bought it at 53,000 October. So you're talking about October, November, December. Coins can do, they can go down in value, but that doesn't mean that the target price is not going to be 150,000. Bitcoin, we should see $100,000 Bitcoin this year. Everybody's saying that, right? Maybe it will happen, maybe not, but yeah. So that's it. I apologize for the interruption. Thank you for joining. There's so much more to discuss. I've probably been on here for an hour, so I'll let you guys go for now. Thank you. It was a pleasure having you, and I hope you enjoy the discussion. I do want to come back with some more stuff, more material, zero in on some areas and aspects, but tonight's not the night for that one. So I'll just leave you with this here, and may peace be with you. Keep the love, keep the faith. It's still hard times a lot, and things are going to get more difficult as inflation increases, more money printing, less jobs, opportunities dwindle, technology rising, a lot of people being left behind. You have to learn to adapt. So spend the time learning about this technology, right? Polkadot, before I go here, sorry about that. I just traded I sold some Solana for Atom, right? And Polkadot. So one of the VIP charts that I was looking at, actually, let me bring that up before I go. I was about to give you guys a speech, but you see what it says here? Live price is $29. Entry point is $26. Date posted April 8th, 2021, folks. Polkadot has fluctuated in and about this area. These guys got in at $26. They had to wait a year, but guess what? $78 target price. And guess what? Let me just pull up this document here. DOT is one of the few altcoins enjoying 2022 so far. It is finally showing signs of recovery after a 2-month-long bear run where it lost more than 52% from its all-time high. It is already up to about 13% in 4 days of January. In the 4 days of January, currently trading at the range of $29 and $30. Since December, it has been trading with a horizontal channel, which gives us our trigger support at $23 and resistance at 32. Although its first attempt to break above the resistance on Monday last week failed, DOT appears to have garnered new momentum for another breakout in the short term. Watch out for the breakout outside of the current trading area. So yeah, these are some of the other things I wanted to talk about. Maybe I'll just flash it on your screen and you guys can pause the screen and take a look at it. But Kraken is doing some good things. Regulators with the US and stable coins in discussions, they're having some hearings. More billionaires are turning to crypto on fiat inflation fears. So anti-crypto investors are increasingly turning to Bitcoin. All right, so one example is a Hungarian-born Bitcoin billionaire, who in January 1st, Bloomberg report said that it would be prudent to have 2 to 3% of one's portfolio in crypto assets, just in case fiat goes to hell. This is coming from a billionaire. He is reportedly worth $25 billion, right? He doesn't know anything about crypto, right? But he's like, oh, you know what? Why not 2%, 3%? Paul Tudor Jones. I watched Paul Tudor Jones start off with, hey, you know what? 2%, 3%, same thing. All of a sudden, now he's coming saying 5, 10%. Why? Because he's done some research. He's had people working for him doing the research, doing the deep dives, providing him with information. That's what I have for me, right? This is like a passion for me that I'm going to make into a business model so I can sustain myself, right? I'm putting in the work and I'm going to evolve whatever it is I'm doing. That's my goal. So we're going to see a lot of people gravitate naturally towards this space because there's space of abundance, space of opportunity to the likes of which we've never seen before. I love using that phrase. Latin America to boost more Bitcoin mining in 2022. Wow. A report analyzing countries such as El Salvador, Argentina, Paraguay, Venezuela suggests that they increased their hash rate in 2022. Meanwhile, the United States and Canada continue to lead options for mining Bitcoin after mining machines were turned off in China. Yeah, so United States, Canada, it's cold here. We could mine a lot of Bitcoin because the temperature is beautiful, it's cold. So these are the things that are happening here, folks, and I wanted to bring to your attention. These are some of the tokens that I was actually looking at: Axie Infinity, EFI, ENJ, NVIDIA. NVIDIA, they make graphic cards for Bitcoin mining, Ethereum mining. YGG, that's a metaverse-based token where they're going to start purchasing a lot of metaverse tokens to add to their collection. So they're going to be, if you need to rent something, you can actually rent it, and these guys will own it. So to reap the rewards and play to earn games, you have to utilize something, an NFT or an asset within the game, and that could cost about $600, a lot of money. So a lot of people want to get into the game. So now they're going to have the next level of metaverse is going to have free play to earn. So I just go in there, I start playing, and it's free. BTC rejected from the resistance, right? And again, tested. Yeah, so BTC is going to fluctuate, like I mentioned. Bitcoin Cash, under the radar. Even if I have to have one, that's going to make me rich in the future. It's a fork of Bitcoin. It's a brother to Bitcoin. It has utility today. But obviously Ethereum and Bitcoin are capturing most people's attention right now. So right now the world doesn't care about probably all of these or many of these. Mining operations deep dive, we talked about that. But yeah, that's about it for now. Thank you so much for accompanying me and spending the time with me, and I apologize for any interruptions. Just trying to do this. You see the wires hanging in the background. I'm evolving, so I just want to create some content for you guys, make it fun. But this one was a little bit more serious because we wanted to delve into certain things. But as you can see, the research never stops, right? There's always going to be something to think about, to look at, to research, to deep dive, like the AR, Arweave. I've heard people talk about it, and so take a look at the dot, atom. Those are good ones. AR, of course, and may peace be with you. May abundance come to you in all levels of your life. Don't forget to educate others in this space, and spread the knowledge as well. So peace, love, and happiness. All right, signing off.